Hey everybody, I'm Kevin, and today I wanted to do just a quick video and a review on the DeWalt 60 volt max edger. And I bought the 60 volt rather than the 20 volt since you're going to get better longevity on the battery and you're going to get more power. And if you've ever done any edging along a sidewalk or driveways, you know that if that sod's over quite a ways, you're going to need some power. It can be difficult to cut through if it's never been done for many years. If it's just light duty, you're doing it almost every week at your home, the 20 volt is probably going to be just fine. And the 60 volt max at the time of this video, this was about $350, and you can get the 20 volt for about half that price. Once you pull this out of the box, really the only thing you have to do is this handle just comes apart with 4 bolts. You put it over the shaft, and it's a matter of retightening those bolts at the most comfortable position. You can move that handle up or down. Another nice option on this model, you can actually buy several different attachments. Just a matter of loosening up this wing nut, pushing in, it just pops right out. So you can get a brush cutter, a weed whip, a head shears. There's quite a few different attachments that you can get with this, and that way you're not buying the electric motor for every different unit, and you can interchange batteries as well onto different tools if you have them. Another tool you're going to want to have is a flat spade shovel. Once you start cutting through, sometimes you've got to get a shovel out, pull those sod scraps out just to make a little bit more room for that blade to spin. Something else you can deal with on edging, if it's wet soil, sometimes you're going to build up dirt under here, almost like a mud collar. So it's not a bad idea to have a screwdriver or something with a long shaft to dig that soil out of there, because you're just putting more resistance on that blade, using more battery power. And before we get started, you'll also notice there's a guide here. You can rotate this wheel up and down, loosen that wing nut there. So we'll find out what level we're going to be at. Since I've got a brand new blade, I'm going to put that wheel to the absolute shortest setting. And then as that blade wears down, that's sometimes where you have to bring that wheel up a little bit so that blade can dig in there just a little bit deeper. So I've used this model before. This one's brand new. Let's go ahead and see how this thing works out. It's funny how cameras work, is it looks like that blade is spinning slowly, but it's actually spinning at a pretty fast, high RPM. So even though the grass has grown over the sidewalk about 3 to 4 inches, it's only about 1.5 inches thick. And if those sod clumps were any thicker than that, you'd probably be better off using one of the pull-behind commercial machine edgers. You'll notice I'm moving back and forth to get a clean cut. This helps clear out the grass and soil that starts to build up in that plastic guard. And since I can't see the sidewalk edge, I'm also using the sound of the blade brushing up against the sidewalk as my guide. And as I mentioned earlier, I grab that flat spade occasionally to scrape those severed sod clumps off the sidewalk. Since once you get some of that sod scraped away, it'll open up a straight line of sight and better help you see where you need to be cutting. Okay, I've completed the first pass, and here's a closer look at the amount of grass I'm removing, getting us back to that clean edge. About 3 to 4 inches has been removed. As you can see, it's a bit of a messy process, and I definitely recommend doing your edging when your soil is more on the dry side. You'll cut through that soil more efficiently, and the cleanup is a lot easier too. And then I didn't show it, but a good backpack blower works great for the final step, cleaning up all that remaining light soil left on the concrete. Once I get all the sod scraps cleaned up, I like to make one more pass to make sure I've got a really clean and finished edge. And now that the hard work is done and we're back to square one, I'd highly recommend using your edger on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. If you avoid letting that grass grow over too far, then it's a really quick and easy process to run that edger over your sidewalk and drives to maintain that clean edge. And I noticed the owner's manual on this tool indicates you'll get about 700 feet of edging per charge. But that's only going to be the case if you're doing that weekly or bi-weekly maintenance. When it's heavy cutting like this, I only got around 100, maybe 150 feet per charge. So luckily I had 3 fully charged batteries on hand for this job. All right, that wraps up this edging project. I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you again next video.